Touching on something you mentioned, airdrops for your stakers and things like that. You brought some innovation to the business, and you have, obviously great community and engagement. And you also have the auto compound bot, which I've personally also been using. So, why do you think all this stuff is important to run a, successful validator?
I mean, it's as I mentioned. I think the validator business was very boring in the first couple of months. So I think that the staking business really kicked off after IBC got enabled, and back in the day everything was a little bit boring. But I think staking will become so big. I mean, basically staking will become the backbone of DeFi, so tomorrow's financial system in that sense. And I think it's a little bit naive to think like that the staking industry will be like this. So just set up a validator and then you earn the commissions. So it will become more complex. Validators will have to do more. It's like we do it, but I mean, it was inevitable that someone would do it because we want to walk the extra mile more or less. So also the auto compound bot is a very good example. It's like just making staking more comfortable for the people, giving them incentives, because it's, again, very naive to think I set up a validator, I have a nice Twitter account, and then that's it. That's the backbone of DeFi. That's not the case. Also because more institutions are looking into it. Like the competition, I guess, will become very, very intense in the next couple of months and especially years. And now even banks and funds are looking at it. So yeah, I think the business will become more matured, and we have to do more as a validator.
So do you think it will actually be, we're going to move away from, we have a couple of influencers that have their node, we have a couple of Twitter accounts, they have their nodes, to like where it is a real serious business with big institutions that run all the nodes and basically dominate the business already? I mean, we can see it already a little bit with like Coinbase, Binance that run huge nodes, but you think that's where we're kind of heading, where it's centralized institutions that have the biggest nodes?
It's interesting that you mentioned this because Binance closed its validator recently, and I had a very interesting conversation with some other validators recently, and it was JK from Stakefish. He said that it's very, very complicated for big centralized institutions to run validators by their own. Also because of these governance proposals. I mean, look at the Juno proposal that is up right now since I don't know how many weeks. How should Binance vote on this? What will the discussion look like internally? Is there like CZ sitting with his colleagues? Okay, how should we vote on governance proposal? Whatever. It's like very complex. What I think is that we just have to do more. We have to be more active with other projects. We have to be more supportive. And I think that there are a lot of projects that do this. And I think that bigger institutions will choose validators which they use. So for example, Chorus One is a big player, but they are not just the validator. They also build a bridge, for example. They also provide staking as a service so that you can set up a node, for example, and they take care of the infrastructure. Stakefish is doing something similar. We have an auto compound bot. I think it will become more like Bankwise, where you say, okay, which service provider makes the most sense for me? If I have 10 Osmo, I want to do it for myself. I want to play a little bit around. Okay, Frens Validator is ideal for you. If you want to set up your own validator staking as a service and you want to distribute it across different validators, you want high expertise, then a huge team like Chorus One is a good choice. So this is, I think, where the staking industry is heading. But it won't be enough to say, I have a Twitter account, guys, you like me, and start staking with us. It's not, I think that won't be the case.
Got it.
Touching on that, you mentioned institutions are going to be coming in and trying to choose validators. How do you guys are starting off your company, obviously not up there with like Citadel One and stuff, but getting there. And you have these things that differentiate yourselves, but do you foresee that, to get some of these bigger stakers to come in, do you need to do some sort of like business development and like form relationships with them? Or do you think the approach you're taking with the community is going to be enough to maybe get them to delegate to your node?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. So right now we are very, very community driven, as already mentioned. So this is where our focus is right now. But we see how also how the staking business becomes very political. So we have many projects, because if you have a validator, of course, you also have a strong power regarding governance. So we experience that projects reach out to us, oh, please vote on governance proposal X, Y, Z. So I think this is also what basically is like part of what you mentioned. It becomes a part of the game, 100%. But yeah, right now we just focus on the community, and we say, okay, primarily we support good tech, we help where we can, and then we will see how everything will play out, because we also have like a very high level of security for our validators. So our validators are being run across different data centers across the whole globe. We have like a very experienced team, so we can also provide the security for clients that look for this, especially. So we are also an option for this, but our current focus is very community driven and supporting good tech. And yeah, I think also the aspect that funds and bigger clients entering the space is a little bit further down the road. I think some of them are trying to get this Bitcoin thing right now. And but I think it's inevitable that they will also join, and then let's see where we are at this stage.
Yeah, makes sense. You talked about the controversies a little bit about with the governance, but there is another controversy that I think we've seen a lot on Twitter, and that's about airdrops specific to certain stakers or the delegators to a certain node, right? I know you're doing that as well. What would you say? Why is that a legit tactic and not and doesn't endanger decentralization? And why will we see more of that in the future? And how does it help actually the project and the whole ecosystem?
Yeah, I think it's part of what I mentioned, which we have to do more. So we support these projects. And for example, most of the time, so we were not the first one. Like I think Forbol was the very first airdrop. I think they did it with the CMDX airdrop was somewhat connected with it, but I'm not too sure about this. But Forbol did it also already. So it's kind of like a common thing. The thing is that we also collaborated with Binary Holdings. So I think it's not a harm in terms of decentralization, because we also do an NFT drop very soon together with Binary Holdings again, but also with StakeC2. We will also collaborate more with Correspond. So these validators are coming together. It's not that we are like the Amazon or the Google of the staking business, and we say, okay, everybody's delegating to us because of the airdrops, and we take everything. That's not the case. We collaborate also with validators. So that's in terms of decentralization. In terms of how we help the projects, it's very easy. Like what I mentioned, like if you want to set up your project very legit, then we have someone in our team that can help you with the right persons, where to launch the project, which country is the best. Many validators underestimated this, that they deal with millions of dollars, and that also the tax authorities are kind of interested in that. So yeah, like we help them with that. We also help them with reviewing their code. We do marketing for them. We did it recently with Fetch.ai. So we got a foundation delegation, and we help them a little bit with marketing, with content creation, etc., etc. So we help the projects. And I think many people who are a little bit pissed on it are exactly these kinds of validators that do nothing. Like they provide a very good tech for the validators, but the users, they can't see it. There's no immediate benefit for other projects or for the broader community. And I think we won't be the last one who did something like this. There will be many, many, many more.
Yeah, I think we definitely see that more and more. It feels like every second airdrop right now is connected to delegating to the right set of validators, which kind of makes the whole thing also interesting. Is like, how do I redelegate my funds? You know, as a delegator, I feel like we're getting to a point where you can actually improve your returns by being active and following all the different validators, what they're doing and with whom they're partnering.
Let me add there. I think it also reminds me a little bit of today when you choose a bank. So you also not go just to one bank. You are comparing, okay, where are the fees higher? Where can I get a credit card easier? Things like this. And I think that's the same thing with Validator. And that's basically the start of the conversation. That was the start of the conversation. We looked at this Kepler wallet list and you didn't see any differences. But now the user says, okay, which validator is actually the service I really need? Do I need airdrops? Do I need security? Do I need a strong community? Do I need education? Do I like them on FMOS because they support the project I really like? Things like this. And then it's about to get very, very interesting.
Yeah, got it.